Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah and I make videos about movies, vintage shopping, living in Philadelphia, whatever comes up. But today I wanted to talk about one of my all-time favorite films, period. Eve's Bayou. So Eve's Bayou is a period supernatural thriller. I tried to think of a film that came out around a similar time period that sort of similar vibes, and the only example I could think of is The Devil's Backbone, where you have a very saturated world. So you have, in this case, Eve's Bayou is centered in the 1950s in Louisiana, in the Bayou, and focuses on a family and their tumultuous summer one year. And in the case of The Devil's Backbone, it starts after the Spanish Civil War and centers on an orphanage. They both have that hyper-realistic setting in which these supernatural elements and characters come into play. Eve's Bayou begins with a story about their past. A narrator begins telling the story of the Batiste family and how they came to be. And through telling the story, we come to know that the narrator is the latest generation Eve. And she begins to move from the past to the present by saying that she's going to tell the story of how one summer she killed her father. That right there, just the beginning of the story, how it starts, what the narrator tells us about the family, how we're introduced to them, and then finding out the narrator of the story during a summer when she was a kid murdered her father. I was always fascinated by that. Just hitting all these different interesting storied notes, going into the past, talking about her ancestors, coming into the present, coming into the recent past and talking about her childhood. So that's how the story begins, with this narration. But the next opening scene, we are outside of a huge mansion and there's a party raging inside. There are people standing outside having drinks, there are people dancing. It's full of joy and it's great festivity. And you're like, what? How is this the beginning of the story? Yet again, you have that moment where it's like, wait a minute, I thought this was going to be really serious and dark and, with the way that the story started. But here we are at a party. I wanted to know how we got there. And our main protagonist is like a 12-year-old girl. So we see this huge house. And then we see the hosts, we see the mother, Roz, their father, Louis, the auntie, the very enigmatic auntie with attitude, Moselle, and her husband, Harry, who's played by Branford Marsalis. Now, let me tell you something. This cast is top shelf class A. Major or minor, there is a face that you see in this movie that you recognize from something else, and they give the most amazing performances. So that night at the party, Eve witnesses something that changes her perspective on her father and her family forever and starts her down a darker path. At the same time, other people in the family are also going through it. You have Roz, whose husband is not faithful to her, and Louis being the unfaithful husband, and Moselle being a sister with psychic abilities, her having lost many husbands and lovers over the years. There's such a tragedy here, And we're just stepping in momentarily to view the family at this particular point. And this point is spicy. Time moves on, moves further into the summer. Revelations and secrets are revealed over and over again inside the family and outside of the family, because it's very small town sort of thing. And characters are genuinely going on journeys. Each character has experienced something that has changed them, that changed their outlook on the world. By the end of summer, Eve's father has died, and their family is dealing with the loss, and there are yet still more secrets that are revealed. You think that that is the end of the story, and it isn't. And the way that the story ends is left a little bit open so that you know that this is not the end of their story. We've just witnessed these moments from their personal history, and they will continue on outside of it. The characters feel very full, they feel very detailed, they feel very fleshed out. And the story itself is very simple on paper. It's a family that's going through a tumultuous time and experiencing tragedy. And that's what I love about the movie. It's not exactly what you're expecting. And even if you think you have a pretty good idea of who a character is, they do something that surprises you. There's comedy, there's drama, there's supernatural elements. It has everything. It is a very full film. Now, getting into the nitty and the gritty. The acting is fantastic. When I say fantastic, most of the main characters deliver a monologue. Eve's character, Jurnee Smollett, she's a kid in this movie, and yes, she delivers some of the most iconic lines in the entire film. Her mother, Roz, played by Lynn Whitfield, delivers these incredible monologues, these emotional monologues, these incredible character studies of a woman of privilege who his husband ain't doing right, and her family is experiencing all of these events, and she's just trying to hold it together. And their father, who is just going through his own thing and trying to find his way as well. Everybody is struggling and doing it very privately because they are a rich, wealthy family. People look to them to set an example. They have reputations to uphold in a way. And it's so beautifully shot. I love the fact that we get so many different locations that really fill out the world that they've built. We've got their house, multiple rooms in the house, the kitchen, living room, their bedrooms. We see the kids playing in the woods. We see the market where everybody just walks to the market, going over that bridge. How that bridge plays a key role in when you're walking over that bridge and away from home, and all of these different symbols and elements. And there are so many different moments that are unique and iconic to this film. For example, when Roz is worried that something's going to happen to the kids because of a vision that Moselle had. And the kids are stuck inside the house, and they can only play with stuff in the house, and how you see scenes where at first it's fine, they figure out games to play together, and then they start trying to find ways to occupy themselves separately, and then it gets to the point where they start pranking each other and getting really frustrated and angry that they have to stay inside. And you get to see that development over time, but it does not drag on. So many great characters, so many great moments of dialogue, but I particularly like that monologue delivered by Moselle's character, played by Debbie Morgan, when she's telling the story of her last husband, and the circumstances surrounding his murder. The dialogue as she delivered it was beautiful. So well done. And then the way that they filmed it was so well done because we didn't need to see a flashback. We didn't need to see the scene play out in real time, but hearing the echoes of the whispers of the conversation as she is telling the story. I think it would have taken away from the monologue, be distracting visually from the story as she's telling it and the music that's coming in. So many things happen that change the characters and alter the plans for the summer that it feels like 100 years have passed almost in a way, because no one is who they were at the beginning of the film. Everybody has been changed by what happened over that summer. I'd give Eve's Bayou gets a 5 out of 5 from me. Highly recommended for anybody who enjoys like thriller, mystery, period pieces, because the production design is top shelf, as I said. The house, the interior design of the house, clothes, all the dresses, the outfits, just Samuel Jackson suits throughout the movie. Diane Carroll's character, going to visit her in the Bayou, the shack that she lives in, her going inside the shack, her whole, Diane Carroll in this movie is so terrifying. She has no pity. And that was a surprising thing. It was like, yes, she is treated the way that she's treated. She has a very acidic tongue and has no pity for the Batiste family. I think she feels the way a lot of people feel about them, which is that they're spoiled rich kids. I would have loved to see another film about their family. I don't know, but it's beautiful to watch. The audio details, like hearing the sounds of the bayou, water lapping, people walking on a dirt road. I love all of those audio details. Let me know if you guys have seen the movie. I feel like if you know about it, you know about it, and if you don't, you need to. But anyway, thank you so much for spending your time here with me today. I really appreciate it. I really hope you guys enjoy the movie if you haven't seen it and decide to watch it. And I'll see you guys next time.